It's Monday again, and I am so excited to be back for Monday Marketing Magic, where I share with you my contemplations over the weekend. And actually, I've been away on an entire week-long vacation. And I have so many things that I want to share with you. And the first thing being is that I got to see my own evidence that all of the content, the work, the seeds that you plant in your business can fruit while you're on vacation, and you don't have to actually do more. Oftentimes, we put this pressure on ourselves like consistently, we need to show up every single day. And if we're not taking action and doing the work, we won't be able to see results. And it's simply just not true. I had a client that just found me on Instagram. She fell from the sky, and I actually manifest this. I talk about this in my dreams. I talk about this before I go to sleep when I wake up in the morning. Clients find me today and they sign on to work with me right now. My content is so good that they want to work with me today. They don't need to warm up. They don't need to get to know me. They find my content, they read it, they binge it, and they're like, I know that that's the mentor for me. And this is a mindset shift I really had to work on embodying. And the same thing, I had to undo this cycle of like, the more that I do, the more successful that I am. And going on vacation for an entire week, everything in my life and my business really had to shift when I became a mom. I couldn't find myself working 24/7 because my value is being present with my son and giving him the support and the love and the attention that I didn't have. So it's a really big driver and a big motivator. And as I was contemplating having the biggest month in my business since 2020, when I was in the India ashram COVID-19 lockdown, while on vacation, while not creating more new content, I was still creating, but I was repurposing old content. I wasn't going live. I didn't do a podcast. I just took what I had already done and I prepared it to go out into the world while I was away. So I was repurposing. And this is something that I teach a lot inside of Amplified Impact. My signature program to start and grow your online coaching business is like, how can you work smarter and not harder? And first, it's like, okay, I have to change my mindset around doing more equals earning more, doing more equals having more impact and signing more clients. And when I went on vacation to embody that, I got to see the evidence of it coming forward and it coming through. And I got to thinking about my son, who is the greatest gift of my life, the biggest teacher I'll ever have, the one that brings out the best and the worst in me. Like when I became a yoga teacher and I found my practice and I really found who I was and what I was meant to do in this world, I thought I had worked a lot on myself. And then I had a baby and I realized like, okay, here's the onion. I've gone this deep and now we're going to get to the core of it. Especially shout out to all of you single mamas out there. I do it a few times a year to go on vacation and see my sister, and my husband stays at home. And this is so hard. And it really puts into perspective like the forgiveness I have for my mom, who had four children before she was 22 years old, doing it alone. And I just, deep forgiveness in my judgment towards her. And shout out to all you mamas that are doing it alone because it's hard work. And it really brought up a lot in me and my anger and my frustrations and my desire for alone time and my personal practice turning into breastfeeding or not having it all. And I get to look at the compounding interest that my practice has, as well as my business. My business gets to reap the benefits of all the work that I did before I had him, all the work that I do now. And then I get to go on vacation and really enjoy being present with my family. And while I was having these deeper contemplations on like how he really brings out the best and the worst in me, I reflect back onto the time in the COVID lockdown. I was in the India ashram, and for the third time, a doctor had told me I perhaps have an eating disorder. And I'd heard this a few times before, but I didn't hear it the way I heard it. And I think it's because I was sitting with myself. I was meditating for 2 hours a day. I was doing yoga. I was running my business. And I was like, maybe I do. And so I started to research orthorexia and the addiction that one can have to being healthy. And that was me. I would go into a health store and I would sit there reading the ingredients of every single package for hours and leave with nothing. I would over exercise, I would undereat, I would fast too much. And I basically just put my body into starvation. And I learned through this journey the fifth vital sign of a woman's health is her period. And I hadn't had it for 3.5 years. So being with myself, sitting with myself, I heard it differently and I accepted the fact. And I was like, so what's the solution? What can I do now? And it was gain weight. The scariest thing that I had spent my whole life trying to lose weight. And now to to heal myself, to get what it is I desired so much, to have my period back and be healthy again, was the exact thing I feared the most. And I was like, oh, this happens when we go to start a business. When we go to college, we get out and we realize we don't want to do that anymore. When we invest so much time and energy into something, and then we realize that that something is what we need to go against. And in business, we fear being judged. We fear it not working out. And the truth is like, you will be judged and you are going to fail. It's the truth. And it's so scary. And I never could have had my son and the greatest gift of my life had I not took the risk, because there was no guarantee, there was no promise that gaining weight was going to be what healed me. I had to gain weight and find out. If you want to start a business, you have to start the business and find out. Sometimes we go to pick a niche and we think we know what the niche is, or we get stuck on finding the niche. And it's really just taking action and finding out what doesn't work in our messaging and our marketing so that we can find out what does work. It's going towards, and then as like I'm having this deep contemplation, I'm writing about this, I'm contemplating this, I was like, wow, here I am now. Here's what I desire. The thing that scares me the most is what I actually need to do to find out before I know that this is going to be successful, that this is going to happen, that I will get my period, that I will create a thriving business, that I can actually make money doing what I love full time. But it's because from here to where you desire to be, that leap of faith, that abyss, that unknown is the becoming of the one that can actually make it happen. I had to love myself so much that I was willing to do whatever it took to get my period back. And that meant gaining weight. That meant returning back home to Costa Rica, where I had an identity of being a strong, fit woman, the one that people idolized, the one that people wanted this body, that I learned later put other people into their triggers and other people into their not enoughness. But coming home 30 pounds heavier, still not having a period, it took about a year to get my period back after I gained the weight. But I gained the weight and I got my baby. But it was the leap. And that's what happens. We have to let go of the thing we're so afraid of to become the next version of ourselves. And as I'm contemplating this, a thought came into my mind about a potential client who wants to work together, but she's waiting until she gets the confirmation, until she gets the evidence. And that's what blocks her from it happening. We can't sit around waiting for it to happen or to get the sign. It's you take the action and the sign comes, because you have to be in alignment with the frequency. Everything is just an energy. And this is why so many people end up breaking up. This is why so many people end up losing friends and family members in their lives. This is why we outgrow a career or a business or a certain group of people, a niche, because of the frequency that we rise to. And not everyone's rising to that frequency. And it's the leap of faith into the unknown without the guarantee that brings us what it is we desire. It's in the becoming of that energy. It's in the becoming of that frequency. And now I look at myself and my body has kind of balanced back. I'm definitely not as thin, or in Spanish, we say delgada, but my body is at a healthy weight, one where I'm not, can I eat this? Should I eat this? It's if my body desires it, I give it. I'm consistently working out and exercising, and I take breaks. I didn't exercise every day on vacation, but I used to. I would wake up so early and make sure I did. And there were several days that I did wake up and exercise. But on the days where I wanted to sleep in, or Armani let me sleep in, then I definitely would have. And it's finding the balance and not forcing ourselves to put ourselves inside of this box. And the biggest thing that I've learned in all of this is trust. Trust that what it is you're seeking is seeking you, as Rumi says. And there's this letting go, this surrender of the past version of you. And that's where I think about it as like we're a butterfly on the other side. But before you can find your wings, you have to die. The caterpillar has to be reborn. And in that parting and in that being reborn, a piece and part of you dies and you let go. And so if you're in a space right now where you want something and exactly what it is you want, you're afraid of, hold the vision and love yourself so much that you're willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what happens, because you believe in you. You believe that you're meant for what it is that you want. And when you love and believe in yourself that much, you'll go for it no matter what happens. It's like when we're in love, when we're married, we'll do anything for that person. When you're single, do anything for you. If you're in a marriage, don't lose who you are and what you dream of at the sacrifice of someone else. Believe in yourself so much that you come first, even if you're a mom, even if you're a wife, even if it's I go first. And it's in the unknown of what happens that I become the one that is a match for that thing. And this is so courageous. It's so brave. And as someone that's been doing it now since I moved to Costa Rica 8 years, I can tell you that the fear doesn't go away when I grow to do something I've never done before. It just gets a little easier because I've been stacking the evidence of what happens when I do. And look at your life right now, and where has it gotten even better than you could have ever imagined when you did go for it? Acknowledge everything that you've accomplished and everything that you've overcome up into this moment. Give yourself that credit. And then ask yourself, what can I do today to go for it? And then go for it. If this lands with you, comment below. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next episode.